think of the ground strokers and the power that they might have. But people like Musta and Bruguera hit a lot of spin on the ball. These chaps hit it flat. When it's flat, it's harder.
Jon Tiriac always has a box just behind the court at the far end.
He's been hamstringing, if there's such a thing, as Bruguera on that backhand side. Bruguera initially trying down the line. That was unsuccessful. That's one of the few times he's tried to hook it cross court.
He hasn't been able to hit many of those today off the Sampras serve. Sampras taking quite a lot of pace off, just 162, and paying the price.
Yes, and one of the few times you could see Sampras virtually staying back, so there wasn't really all kinds of thought and power going into that serve. And I would say those 2 points, apart from double faults, perhaps two of the worst consecutive points that Sampras played. 2 points played as if the mind is just beginning to wander a little bit. An ace, of course, would put all that right in a hurry.
Or a nice serve and volley, I suppose, is the next best thing.
In fact, it's actually a better thing, because it means, or it should suggest to Sampras, that because Bruguera is getting to it but not doing anything with it, that he can serve there a bit more often and probably get away with it. Just the 4 points that Bruguera's won when Sampras has served to the forehand.
Delana Mulcahy sitting next to Pete's sister, Marion. Delana, his girlfriend. Well, yes, that looks a bit tight, and George Diaz. One thing I like about George, you'll notice even as he comes down the stairs, his eyes never leave what he thinks to be the ball mark.
Yeah, you've got to do that. I've been watching quite a few of the umpires, and they wobble around and make sure their feet doesn't slip off the chair, take their eye off the mark. Cannot do that.
He's also a very nice guy, George. So we're replaying the point at 40-30. And a very fine official. Sampras never taking his eye off the mark either. Well, you know, Bruguera in his prime a couple of years ago would have not only made that, it would have been easy.
Yes, I think one's got to remember that Bruguera is certainly not playing as well as he did some time ago. As you say, a couple of years ago. The confidence isn't there, but it has to be said, of course, that Sampras today isn't allow him to play as well. But the two things combined make Bruguera easier prey for Sampras.
Well played, Bruguera. Being forced to take the ball early rather than retreat.
Yes, and this following the pattern of so many of the Bruguera service games where Sampras hasn't got a chance, Bruguera wins them like this.
And Bruguera is ahead in the Aces Stakes. I don't think we'd have guessed that that would happen. Certainly not if he was 2 sets to love down. But he's 3-2 up on serve in this third set. There's the automatic camera that gives us the panoramic views around Roland Garros, and also, of course, looks down on this centre court from time to time, and you can see bright blue skies shining down on Sampras. I mean, through we shouldn't count any chickens yet because he's not even a breakup in this set, but I mean, if everyone was saying, God, that's a tough draw that Sampras has, Gustafsson in the first round, then quite probably Bruguera. If he can survive these 2 rounds, and not only survive them, but come sailing through them, I mean, it must be in his mind, well, what a wonderful way to commemorate Tim Gullickson, who died so sadly. What a wonderful way to mark that death with a win here.
Well, yes, that certainly would be a terrific memorial. It's not the thought that I had. The thought that I certainly had was involved as pure tennis terms, that the draw was difficult, but if Sampras could overcome it, it might actually turn out to be a, if not a blessing in disguise, but you know what I mean, a horrific draw in disguise. Or no, it was a blessing in disguise because it was a horrific draw. The blessing in the disguise of a horrific draw. Better to play them and overcome them at this stage than perhaps meet them later on.
15-0.
Serving at 2-3, third set, 2 sets to love. Yes, it's a day for short sleeves and bare shoulders.
30-0.
Bruguera generally would be more able to cope with the powerful Sampras serve on his backhand side, because with 2 hands and a cocked racket head, he doesn't need as long a swing.
40-0.
He's so dispirited that he's even trying the one-handed return.
Yes, it's a very downbeat Bruguera right now. Sergi, who, well, we're saying Pete's short of recent match practice, but Bruguera has only played 19 matches all year compared with Sampras's 35.
Sampras. Changement de balle.
We're going to have a change of balls.
3 jeux partout.
And 3-all in the third.
Bruguera lost his serve once in the last set, but in the other, I think it was 4 games that he served, he only lost 2 points.
Makes it on the line.
15-0.
Oh, dear me.
30-15.
About the first really bad mishit we've seen. There's not much wind down there.
Now then. 30 love to 30 all. And it seems to me that almost any time Sampras gets to this situation, Bruguera is in real trouble for the reasons that Drew has mentioned. He's normally been holding serve so comfortably.
Well, it's interesting. Sampras was covering that shot a lot more earlier on. But I suppose the fact that in this game Becker did make one down the line meant that Sampras felt that Bruguera's feeling just a bit better on it. He may actually choose to go the other way for variety. You can see the rushed nature of that shot. Sampras starting off the match with a lot of slice backhand returns, getting into the net quickly, has given him a lot more feeling on the backhand altogether.
Well, that was the one that Sampras was covering 2 points before. But one thing that has struck me, particularly today, and also against Gustafsson, compared with, I remember when Sampras played Courier in the quarters a couple of years ago, he didn't seem to really have any sort of tactical plan. Whereas today, although he's lost that game, his plan is clear. Keep it deep. As soon as I get a short ball, attack. 4-3 Bruguera hanging on in the third. Quarterfinals in 1993, and Bruguera won both of those. Sampras has recorded 1 win indoors against the Spaniard. Well, the heavy slice there from Bruguera, and that really bit. And the ball, I'm sure, you spotted, kept very low indeed.
Yes, there's such a hard base to this court that with a few sort of bits of sand and pebbles on top, it's like hitting marbles on a ice rink. It can really keep low. Of course, that suited Sampras most of the time, so he shouldn't be complaining, and he wasn't.
Now then, danger signals once again.
Yes, you were talking about Sampras's mission on court, his tactics. I think what Sampras is doing today against Bruguera is just playing his own game. In the past, I think he's just tried to do it a clay courter's way, which has been a little foreign to his nature. He's had success. He won Kitzbühel, but that's not Roland Garros.
No, I'd agree with you entirely. .207 Ks that serve was. A little buzz about that one. It was quick. What a good second serve.
Yes, that was a kicking mule of a serve. Burro, I suppose Bruguera would call it. It really got up. And of course, that's the essential foundation for this Sampras performance. Even though he hasn't served a lot of aces, he served a lot of really good serves.
Just starting to miss 1 or 2 volleys.
Yes, of course, this has got to be Bruguera's prayer that as the match gets a little longer, so Sampras does begin missing. He's only human, so he's likely to.
Called wide, good on the length line. Well, the little brush on the net cord took it out. And here is break point number 11 for Bruguera.
Yes, as David says, this was a very difficult shot for Sampras to play, but he handled it well considering it's his backhand side, and but for the tape, it would have been in.
Silence, s'il vous plaît.
But hasn't he played the big points well?
Égalité.
11 break points saved, none conceded. And incredibly, he's only missed one break point himself. He's had 3 and converted on 2, and there's the match for you. Well, that one scored at 204 kilometres an hour, and we're 8-all, I think, in aces. Indeed we are. Just checking my colleague Fru's score sheet as well. We'd like to keep our own tally. There's the big scoreboard with the commentary boxes underneath us. We're just off to the right there.
Of course, the slight difference here is not only has Sampras just been in the match for a fair time, but Bruguera is beginning just to middle a few more returns and make the volleying just a little bit more difficult than it was earlier on. Perhaps really much more of the sort of contest that we expected now.
S'il vous plaît.
Third deuce. He missed it. He can't believe it.
Sampras.
And frankly, I think missing it, chiefly because early on in the match he missed so many comparatively easy ones, although the pressure was there, and having missed so many, that's beginning to tell.
Every now and again Sampras holds his lower back briefly after serving. Remember, he had those back problems in Düsseldorf. He didn't do enough with that volley. He pushed it. He was indecisive.
Yes, he almost played this as if the point were over. As David says, just a push volley. He had the time really to stay in a bit closer and really chop it cross court or hit with a more acute angle. And Bruguera's something of a greyhound at the back.
Fourth deuce.
Avantage, Sampras.
So Sampras comes through another huge game, and Bruguera must be thinking, what have I got to do to break this guy's serve? I've had 11 break points in the match, and I can't nail one of them.
Now that's the problem for him, isn't it? It sort of eats away into his confidence. The more he has, the worse he begins to feel. And in a way, surprising that he could come up with that good a serve immediately after all that. Occasionally Sampras just not staying with his backhand long enough.
My word. Well, we've seen some huge forehands from Sampras, but that matches anything world #1 has produced.
Well, for me, this is the shot of the match, because Bruguera really flattened it out. There may almost have been a suggestion of desperation about it, but what a shot.
So love game for Bruguera. And Sampras will have to serve to stay in this third set. And if Bruguera could break here and get the third set, well, then it gets very interesting again. 4-5, Sampras serving.
Tally now to the forehand, 29 points, 1-7 lost. And if I were Sampras, I think I'd be changing my shorts. They're pretty wet. And I hate to add quickly that it is perspiration.
Premier service.
Sampras certainly making more unforced errors in this third set than at any previous stage of the match. Remember, he is very short of match practice in recent weeks. Just the 2 matches in Dusseldorf, which he lost, and then of course the long gap back to Tokyo. All sorts of options open to Bruguera there.
Yeah, so those are the sort of shots that when Bruguera was winning this title, he made. But then, of course, he was perhaps not up against this sort of pressure all the time. Who can tell? Has he got worse, or has the opposition got better? I think the opposition's got better.
I think it's a question of both. .40-30, point for 5 all. And a huge serve.
Yes, it's very heavy serving. And it just, whenever Bruguera feels that he's got a bit of a chance, a bit of a hope, the big serve comes in, gives him no time.
Well, now then, what a time this would be for Sampras to strike. If he could just break here, he'd be serving for the match.
Yes, even a long rally like that, the longest rally of the match, I believe, 17 strokes in it. And Bruguera coming off second best. Sampras just biding his time, waiting for the short one.
Net for serve. Just looking for confirmation from George Diaz and getting it.
Maybe we should call him Bishop Diaz.
15.
The approach just a little shorter. And Bruguera not rushing this, just staying with it a little longer.
And Bruguera back in front in the Aces Stakes. 9-8. We continue to go with serve in this third set, and Bruguera leads 6-5. Can Sampras take it into the tiebreak? As a qualifier earlier this year, very few people had heard of. An awful lot of people will have heard of him by this time tomorrow. Sampras 5-6, third set, leading Bruguera 2 sets to love.
Absolutely brilliant. No ace, but it really slid in. Virtually no chance for Bruguera.
Well, he's made very few of those. And now then, Bruguera is 2 points away from taking the set.
15-30.
And this might just be suggesting that something is up here, something is cooking.
Two more break points for Sergi Bruguera, and these are set points.
Well, it was a very high bouncing, you see. He had to lay the wrist back and really try to give it a real crack, almost trying to hit a winner from that position.
S'il vous plaît, les jeux sont prêts. S'il vous plaît, merci. Peu de silence, merci.
12 break points saved.
30-40.
But all that will count for naught if Bruguera can convert this one.
S'il vous plaît.
This was wide.
It'll be fascinating to see if he serve volleys.
Oh, what a time. Well, we've been saying earlier today, if you were with us when we were looking at Martina Hingis, it's the ability to play your best when it really matters that separates the great from the good.
And this was the perfect play, because serve volleying second serve would have been just too risky, I feel. This forehand was as powerful, or more powerful, than the second serve.
Avantage, Sampras. s'il vous plaît.
Yet again, Sampras escapes. It's quite extraordinary. Yes, confirmation. I just wanted to check my figures with the computer, but Bruguera has had 13 break points in the match and not converted on any of them. And if he loses this game, it really will be a case of unlucky 13.
They've never played a tiebreaker against each other, these chaps.
Just wide.
1-0. Bruguera.
Sampras this year is ahead in tiebreakers one. Bruguera just ahead. He hasn't played many because he played so few matches.
Oh, that's a terrible misjudgment.
Bruguera.
Yes, that was really always going in, one feels.
It was mishit, and that might have fooled Sampras, but, you know, at this level and in a tiebreak, you don't expect him to make a mistake like that.
Well, that's the old faithful play. 32-1 there now, only 9 lost to the forehand.
Drew McMillan better than any statistician's computer. That was asking for trouble. That was one I actually thought he might have rolled the backhand approach. There was time to do it.
Yes, he was just hoping here that the pressure of the point, the pressure of the occasion would do it, and earlier on it would have.
Oh. Well, it was a bad bounce, or at least Bruguera will claim it, but it was another ripping forehand from Sampras. And he has gone for that shot time and time again and made it time and time again. Cancels out the mini break, it's 2-3.
Yes, I might say the only reason I kept the statistic about serving to the forehand at the backhand was that I believed that Sampras would win the match easily if he did serve a lot to the forehand.
As soon as Sampras cancels out the mini break, Bruguera restores it. And still, you've got this niggling doubt in your mind that Bruguera really can get back into this.
You mean niggling doubt about Sampras winning in 3? Well, that's for sure. Bruguera very much back into it. Sampras dispirited, a little tired. Bruguera, the known clay courter. This is the scenario. It makes it so intriguing.
Oh dear. Just came back on the Sampras side.
5-2, Bruguera.
5-2 up, 2 serves to come. It's long, and these are 4 set points for Bruguera.
6-2, Bruguera. S'il vous plaît.
That's wide, and Bruguera has the set. Convincingly, winning the tiebreak 7-2. And now has the tide turned. 2-1, Sampras. Remember, we've already lost today Andre Agassi and Alberto Costa. Agassi to fellow American Chris Woodruff, Costa to fellow Spaniard Francisco Clavet.
Yes, I think the key at this stage still remains very much the Sampras serve. I don't think stamina comes into it quite yet. The points haven't been long enough, as I explained. I think the two longest points have been in the area of about 12 or 18 strokes at the most. Of course, there's a lot of nervous energy, but up until this stage, not as much as one might expect in a match of this nature. That certainly will apply if it gets into a fifth set. Then I would think the odds begin favouring Bruguera.
And suddenly Bruguera is beginning to make some of the shots that he wasn't earlier.
Yes, there's a freedom of movement about Bruguera's game, and it's of course totally understandable, having notched a set finally. Suddenly beginning to play, but look more like Bruguera, and of course is Sampras volleying quite as decisively, quite as crisply, I wonder.
Break point for Bruguera.
Just giving Bruguera that little bit of extra time now to make these shots. Bruguera a little bit more pumped up.
Well, Bruguera disappointed, but it was a good backhand from Sampras. So still Bruguera can't break serve. He's won a set, but he hasn't broken serve.
Yeah, Sampras really gave this all that he had, and Bruguera's upset because Sampras, of course, wasn't anywhere near the net to volley.
But there's no doubt now that Sampras's volleying is not winning him the points quickly and decisively as it was earlier.
Avantage, Bruguera.
And on his 15th break point, Bruguera finally breaks. And now it really does seem as if the tide has turned in favour of the Spaniard.
Yes, well, there was a stage at this match that even though Sampras was winning points handsomely serving to the Bruguera forehand, that he was obviously also very well ahead when serving to the Bruguera backhand. That's no longer the case. Bruguera has certainly caught up in that department, which means not only better returning, but I think more definitely less effective serving by Sampras.
Well, these are how the seeds have fared so far. Andre Agassi, just to confirm, he lost in 5 sets today to Chris Woodruff. Thomas Enquist, he lost, was it yesterday, to Richie Renneberg, maintaining his 100% record of never having won a match here at Roland Garros. And there's 2 of the top 8 seeds have gone, and 2 more. Alberto Costa, he lost today to Francisco Clavet, and Mal Washington was the only seed to go out on Monday. So most of them going along. Just to quickly tell you that Slava Dosadel 4-3 up on serve, second set against Wayne Ferreira, one of the seeds we saw there, and another seed, Richard Krajicek, has dropped the second set to Thomas Carbonell of Spain. They've just started the third. One set all they are. Bruguera coming back and coming back strong.
Now, of course, the pattern of much of the rest of the match was that when Bruguera wasn't busy losing serves, he was winning them very, very easily. In the first set in 3 games, then he lost 2 points. In the second set in 4 games, then he lost 2 points in his serve. But the point now, of course, is that Sampras can't afford to lose all these games easily, because he's a breakdown.
Oh, well, that's an improvised winner.
45.
To love Bruguera.
Tiebreakers have been costly to Sampras this year. One thinks of the 2 he played against Philippoussis in the Australian. Lost to him in 3 straight. 2 of those were tiebreakers.
New balls, Sampras serving, love 2 in the 4th. Marion Sampras, Pete's younger sister, who's just graduated, hasn't she?
That's what I'm told, yes. This is sort of her holiday or her celebration.
There's another sister as well, Stella. Who is on the tennis coaching staff at University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA.
Yes, Bruguera giving this second serve quite a look, because it was very, very close. But Sampras really getting inside this one. Look how he cuts across the ball. And that spin really means control. Particularly when the ball's played right at you, you want to get inside it.
Sampras steadies the ship, and he needed to. He was going through very rocky and choppy waters. 2-1 though, Bruguera with a break in the 4th.